Hello everyone, welcome to Liam's Daily Reviews here at Northam's Haunted Book Factory. Today I would like to talk about a horror novel that took the world by storm. A book that was so disturbing when the film came out it made people run screaming and vomiting from the cinemas. Now we all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking of course about William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist. Now The Exorcist came out in 1971 and is the story of a young girl named Regan possessed by a demon, and the tale follows two Jesuit priests as they try to rid Regan of the evil spirit inhabiting her poor little body. Now this is a very offensive novel. Now anyone that's seen the movie, remembers certain scenes. There's no way I'm going to quote on this video because it would have to be censored. But the book is much worse. The book gets into a lot more detail, is a lot more graphic. Things you can do with books a lot of the times you can't do with film. Although the film was so well done that it was nominated for 10 Oscars and actually won 2 of them. Now the 70s was a perfect time for horror films. At the time, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original John Carpenter's Halloween, Carrie, Alien, Suspiria, Dawn of the Dead, The Hills Have Eyes by Wes Craven, and Exorcist, let's say, probably beat them all at the box office in international attention. It's absolutely terrifying. The book is set up in a way that it has a prologue and an epilogue. The prologue is in northern Iraq, where we follow the priest as he's on an archaeological dig, and he digs up some pieces from, let's say, I'm pretty sure it's an old buried church from thousands of years before. And he finds a statue of a demon named Pazuzu. Now, in the movie, it's never explained which demon is inhabiting. It just simply shows the statue of Pazuzu. Unless you know what Pazuzu is, you wouldn't know that. It never actually comes out and says the name. In the book, it does say that demon's name. And what I really like about it is it goes from northern Iraq, and this young girl, Regan, her and her mother, who's an actress named Chris McNeil, they live in Georgetown in Washington, D.C. And it never explains how this demon traveled all that way and picked her. And that's what I like about it, We don't really know anything about the spirit world, It wouldn't just, it might not just pick a little girl in Iraq and possess her, It just, Regan was who the demon picked, and that's just the way it was. And I really like that. I really like that mystery side of it. It's really good. And the book is set up in three parts. So it's got the prologue and the epilogue, but the 3 parts are the beginning, the edge, and the abyss. And it's describing the start of the terrible problems, Regan being on the cusp of something terrible, and then that last part is her just falling deep into the abyss and the demon nearly killing her while it's taking over her body. Now this old priest named Merrin, he comes back from Iraq just to try to get this demon out of Regan's body, and is assisted by Father Karras, who has a real problem with his faith at the moment. He's recently lost his mother, and the demon, being a mind reader, really attacks Damien Karras and really gets into his head. The final battle is just fantastic and so well done, and the ending is just brilliant. All the way through this, the situation is being followed closely by a detective named Kinderman, and he's a lot of fun. He's like this really sort of gruff, movie-loving detective that he reminds me of Columbo from that old show. And when they made him into a movie, the actor who played him done a fantastic job being Kinderman. It's like nearly directly from the pages of that book. There was a sequel in 1977, The Exorcist 2, The Heretic. It deserves a mention, but don't go and watch it. It's an awful flick by John Borman. He actually said he didn't like it himself. It makes no sense, and it's like purposefully makes no sense. It's a terrible movie with a terrible soundtrack, starring James Earl Jones. Don't watch Exorcist 2. Now, worth a mention is a novel by the same guy who wrote The Exorcist, called Legion. The book was written in 1983 by William Peter Blatty, and follows the story of Kinderman as he tries to solve a string of murders that is happening around Washington, D.C. Now, it is about demons, it is about possession, and they actually made it into a film in 1991 called The Exorcist 3. So, Legion is a fantastic book. Exorcist 3 is a fantastic movie starring Brad Dourif. He's like, it's Academy Award worthy, I swear. Just the acting that Brad Dourif does, and the screenplay is fantastic, and it's really, really scary. One last thing I will mention is in 2004 they tried to do an origin story of The Exorcist called Exorcist: The Beginning. Once again, do not go and see that film. That film is terrible. But apart from that, read the book published in 1971 and go and watch that movie if you haven't already, because it will not disappoint. And as far as that goes, that's the end of my review today. Tune in tomorrow as I will be reviewing Rose Madder by Stephen King, one of my favourite Stephen King books. So take care of one another and read some good books. Thanks.